What usually slips through the cracks when you're all tied up with work? Is it family time, friends time, health? My name is Nikki. This is Flying in English, where we're learning real American English. And today's word is tied up. So, tied up, it means busy or occupied with something that prevents you from doing other things, unable to get away or be unavailable. So obviously you can tell it's pretty idiomatic. It's obviously not really being tied up, but you can kind of imagine if you're tied, like your hands are tied, your legs are tied to work. You know, you can't leave it. You have to do it. That's the idea of you're stuck doing this thing. You're locked in with work or responsibilities. Let's look at some example sentences, shall we? The biggest one is obviously, your job. You've got lots of meetings or lots of events or lots of obligations with your boss. You can say, I can't meet for lunch today. I'm tied up in meetings all afternoon. On the same note of being tied up with work, you might be having to have meetings with clients, or you have to go to face-to-face events. You can say, sorry, I missed your call. I was tied up with a client and couldn't answer. Apart from work, you can talk about other things that you're tied up in. For instance, maybe your money is tied up. You can say, my money is tied up in investments right now, so I can't access it easily. So you can imagine your money can't be used for something else. It's locked in to this investment. The same idea of things being locked in, you can think of something else that could be locked in, maybe like a project. The project has been tied up in bureaucratic red tape for months. That's a great picture you can see in your mind. That project can't move, it can't go anywhere because of that red tape wrapped around it in those bureaucratic processes, right? And of course, I just want to mention really quickly, tied up is used in the literal form too. So it's not just idiomatic. You can, tie up your shoes or tie up the box, the present or something. All right, let's look at some related words. Our first related word is occupied. So occupied is a pretty basic word. It means busy and engaged with something being used. So the difference is occupied can be used in a formal sense too. So tied up is pretty neutral, idiomatic phrase. Occupied can be formal, but can be neutral. The other difference is occupy cannot convey the sense of being trapped. It just means you're busy. It's more general, whereas tied up has that feeling of being locked in place, being stuck. The next related word is swamped. Now, we actually touched on this word in a previous video. If you want to check it out on the channel, it's in the playlist. You can check it out. But swamped means overwhelmed with too much work or having too many things to deal with. So swamped is another kind of imaginative, colorful word. You can think of being surrounded by work. You're maybe in a swamp, which is like a muddy, murky pit of liquidy mud. You're stuck in there. So swamped has that feeling of being stuck. The other idea with swamped is the idea of overwhelm. It's so much. You're surrounded. How are you going to get out? That feeling of overwhelm is in swamped. And the last similar word we're going to talk about is committed. So committed means obligated or pledged to a certain course of action. So committed is probably the closest in terms of the meaning of being stuck in something, but committed is a little bit more positive. It's also more formal. Committed also has this feeling of integrity with it, where you are almost proud of being committed in this particular situation. You can think of commitment in a marriage, right? You're in a committed relationship. So committed being more formal is the difference. That's the main difference with tied up. Tied up is more casual and conversational, of course. Growing up, I used to believe all the people saying that being a workaholic was something to be proud of. I think that was a bit gullible of me. Gullible was the word we talked about in the last video. If you want to check that out, it's right here on the screen for you. Click that next. Thanks so much for watching. Keep flying higher, and I'll see you in the skies. Bye.